Hello and welcome to the Piano Man podcast. Today I chat with Kevin Owen, a Canadian piano entertainer that lives in Austria and plays throughout Europe. We talk about his journey from Canada and America to Europe and his life as an entertainer and composer. Let's get into it. Kevin Owen, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
It's so great to be here.
Oh, awesome.
Really cool.
Really cool. We've known each other for quite a while. I'd say since about 2001.
Something like that.
Yeah,
so that's like 5 years, right?
Again, it's crazy pianos. If you're living in a spaceship that is near Alpha Centauri, yes,
right.
You're right.
It's only 5 years.
Yeah. I think most of the people I've interviewed so far have been from Crazy Pianos.
Yeah.
I guess they're
sense.
the people I grew up around doing this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But you're from Canada originally?
Yes.
From
indeed.
where?
Well, actually, I was born in the States, in Boston, and then
cool.
my mom and dad were Canadian. So we moved back to Canada when I was like 7. So I grew up in Nova Scotia on the East Coast.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Cape Breton Island,
Yes. Right,
where there's tons of music, just not music that's really my kind of music. It's like Scottish music, fiddles and, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Acoustic guitars,
Also cool, I guess, yeah.
kitchen parties,
But what about the local scene, pop scene? What kind of, was that like indie grunge or?
Oh, God, it was terrible. There was really no pop scene there.
Oh.
No. I moved to, I went to university.
So this is before the wheel?
This is before the wheel, exactly.
Okay.
Not quite, but slightly afterward.
Oh, okay.
So, but no, growing up in Glace Bay was a mining town, and so it was really like acoustic guitars and people just singing in kitchens, really. It was like that.
Oh, okay.
Then I studied music in university and then moved to Halifax, which is the capital of Nova Scotia, and there was a thriving live music scene.
Halifax,
so that's why I
yeah.
went there after university.
I've been to Halifax
Yeah.
a couple of times. Yeah. On cruise ships.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it was really cool. It's a pub kind of city, and there was lots of live music at the time, so I was in a few bands, and yeah.
Okay,
really
cool. So what got you into music in the first place when you were young?
Well, when we first moved to Canada, we moved to my great-grandfather's house, which was not much of a house, but anyway, there was an old beat-off piano there.
Yeah.
And I have 4 other siblings.
Yeah.
Well, 3 now, but and we were all interested in the piano. There was broken keys on it or whatever, and I just couldn't get away from it and making up songs and blah, blah, blah. So we all took piano lessons, and then 2 of us kind of continued on, me and my younger sister. But I'm the only one that actually does it for a living, yeah. So,
Oh, right, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did you get into piano entertaining specifically?
that's kind of a fluke, actually. I was living in Halifax. It was after university, and I was living with 3 girls from university, and they were all musicians. One of them was a piano player, but not a singer. And she was asked to do a gig at a wine bar, and she said, I can't do it, but my roommate will. She didn't tell me that. She gets off the phone and says, hey, Kevin, you got a gig for tonight. I'm like, doing what, And she said, yeah, just, it's like a pop gig. I said, I don't know what to play. I'm studying jazz for the last couple of years.
Oh, so you studied jazz?
Jazz and classical voice, yeah.
Together in the same course?
Yes, different teachers, of course. So it was a real bonus.
Okay, because I studied jazz, but I also studied jazz vocal as my second.
I did jazz vocal. I did writing and arranging.
You studied classical
And
vocal
classical voice as well.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I did do choir, chorale. So we
Okay.
did Igor Stravinsky's Book of Psalms and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And that was actually a mandatory class for everybody. You had to go in and do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
With a really famous arranger, conductor, Richard Gill from Australia.
Oh, wow, okay.
That was amazing. But having actual classical singing lessons, that's pretty cool.
It was really cool. Like, it was something you had to do if you're a vocal major. And so I did that.
Did it really help?
It did later on because, there was a lot of information going on in university and, a lot of stuff in my head. And so years later, those techniques just came about, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It really helps for longevity of your voice. And I've been singing it for a long time, many hours a night, and it still works.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I what I did later, much later, was Seth Rigg's speech level singing. Have you heard of that before?
No, I haven't.
He's the guy that trained George Benson, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson,
Oh,
all these
wow.
people.
Really?
And so, so he's got a technique called singing for the stars. And that's called speech level singing because it's based on the way you speak to
Yeah.
use the same muscles to sing.
Right.
And about air pressure.
Yeah,
and about
right.
vowel shape, which is actually, some of it's universal, but some of it's unique. You know?
Yeah.
And I wondered if you had any kind of similar training to that at all.
Well, my jazz training was nothing about, it was just about sound and learning the songs. There was no real,
Core rep.
yeah. It was not any
And you were
vocal
doing
training.
piano.
And I was doing piano because actually I originally went to study piano because I just really wanted to get more chords under my fingers to be able to support myself.
Right.
It was all like a, forward thinking to, if I needed to do something solo, I could take care of it,
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was always a singer first, and so I'm masquerading as a piano player, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then when I get into the vocal end of things, clearly less piano, and then I had to take classical, and that was really focused on voice placement, proper posture when you're sitting. It supports the diaphragm, all kinds of things, breathing and stuff. And it was good to have, but I don't want to really be thinking all the time when I'm singing, But really, that stuff is coming so handy.
Yeah, right. Especially considering you sit and sing all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, and did you finish with a degree in jazz or?
Well, it wasn't a degree when I went there. It started as a 2-year
diploma
kind of thing,
Yes.
and then turned into a degree once I graduated from that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was lucky.
did that.
I actually just came as it became a degree.
Yeah.
So, and I did a Bachelor of Piano with vocal minor. Yeah. And you did a diploma with vocal minor as well.
No, mine was vocal major.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
you did vocal and piano double
Yeah.
major.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I was arranging, so I arranged for the big band and stuff like that. And, so it's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, that is
Composition
so much
and
fun.
arranging.
Yeah.
So
Do you
and
still
that's
do
what
it?
I do.
I mean, as in, do you use Sibelius or something or?
No, I don't do. I really now in my writing, I'm writing pop stuff,
Yeah.
and I have for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I'm
That's
not
all about-
using Sibelius or anything
don't
to
need
write the
to.
stuff down. I
No,
don't need
that's
to.
about
No, I'm just
producing and
being
stuff.
creative on the spot. And,
Yeah.
using different techniques to write.
Yeah, I write jazz, so I still use it for other players.
Right.
You know, I've got to
Of
write
course,
from the
and you
sax
can
and the
rip off
drums and go, here you
pretty
go, here it
quickly.
is, here's the tape, here's the chart,
Yeah.
read and listen. you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But can you give us some kind of brief history of your playing up till today?
Wow. I'm 100. So
Yeah.
no. Oh my God. Okay. Well, here's where it really started. Okay. As a piano bar entertainer,
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah.
Well, I first started, I would say in 1991. I came to Europe. I had 3 gigs.
Why did you come to Europe?
Well, I did an audition in Toronto for a piano bar gig kind of thing, and I didn't get it, but there was somebody there that heard me, another piano player. He said, "Oh man, you do great in Zurich." I'm like, "Really?" And so he said, "Here's a number of an agent there." So I gave her a call, and I said, "Yeah, I'd love to come over, but it was in '91. The economy was terrible in Toronto." So I said, "Listen, if you can find 3 gigs for me and get them to pay for the airfare, I'm your man." So she did that. So I started playing in Zurich. Where did I play? Yeah, 3 gigs in Switzerland somewhere. Yeah. Oh, Germany. I was in Waldshut. Then I played in Zurich, and then another gig somewhere in Zurich. Yeah. So I started playing there in 1991, and then I liked it so much I came back, played different places in Switzerland, and then I played in Iceland for 6 weeks, which was pretty interesting.
Reykjavik or?
Yeah, in Reykjavik. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in a place called Cafe Romance. Ooh. It was a really cool gig though.
Yeah.
And then I started going to Norway, and I played a lot in Scandinavia.
Yeah. Norway really is the mecca for piano players.
For solo piano players,
Yeah.
at least it used to be. I think it's on a rebound again a little bit. There's still piano bars there. I still play there. You still play there?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't play there as often.
No.
Probably not as often as you do.
And the money's probably stayed the same.
The money has stayed the same. That's one reason. Yeah.
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 I mean, look, I think that's generally with music.
Yeah.
I know because I kind of got my start in the 80s.
Yeah.
And back then, we used to get paid a lot of money because it was like there wasn't anyone doing it,
Right.
right? Which gave me great opportunities.
Of course.
And you were considered a star because you're doing music. So people used to get lots of money. And then I noticed that, I mean, I think back in the 80s, I was getting like $200-300 dollars for a gig, which was a lot of money, for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, right.
And my mum saying to me, what are you doing this stupid bloody gigging for? Stop doing this. I'm like, Mum, they paid me $200 to play. She's like, what? She's like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course that didn't change for maybe 6, 7, 8, 10 years longer.
Yeah.
And you can still find people today working for that money.
True.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's very true. In Australia, yeah, $150, $200, right?
Yeah. No, now it's
now?
more like 400, 500, 600.
Okay.
But you can still find people doing gigs for that.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was green back then. So,
Yeah.
you know, I deserved much less than I got. So,
Yeah.
but hey, I was happy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I did a lot in Halifax, for a while, and I was still up to my writing, or was in the beginning phases of my writing. So I also won some awards there and played in front of 50,000 people, and I thought, okay, I've done everything I can do in Halifax. I got to move to Toronto, and then everything went south, and that's why I came to Europe.
Why did it go south in Toronto?
I was promised a lot of work in Toronto, and there was just nothing there. The economy went flat. First thing to go was entertainment costs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there was no work for me there, really.
Right. So then you moved to Europe.
Yeah.
And
Well, I was still living in Halifax and just flying in and doing gigs like 3 months at a time, go back for a month, 3 months, go back for a month.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And you could work for a whole month at that point.
Yeah. So you'd book a few gigs in a row, come over, work in Norway,
Exactly.
etc.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up staying permanently?
Well, after my first marriage went bust, I thought, well, I'm going to go back to Europe. I just love it, And so then I was based in London. A friend of mine was working in the West End doing vocals and stuff, and I wanted to do a little bit of that. Difficult to get into. So then I was flying back and forth from London to gigs basically in Germany or Switzerland and Norway. And that was my base. Yeah. Then I changed that to Germany. And then I moved full time to Europe because I always had an apartment in Halifax at the same time, So I had 2 apartments. I thought that's ridiculous. So then I permanently moved to Europe in '98, I think it was. Yeah.
So that's cool. But what about Crazy Pianos? How did you get into that?
That was another fluke. It seems my whole life is these little fluke in moments, Like I was playing in Norway a lot at that point, and there was an agent named Stephen Elliott, and he was booking a lot in Bergen, and he made mention of Crazy Pianos, And I thought, wow, what's that all about? Because I played in Holland. I did it at Maxime's or Maximus.
Maxime.
Yeah, but there was another one. There was a couple that owned that initially. Then they split up, and the lady made her own bar called Maximus.
Oh.
Yeah. So I played there, but I played
Was
at
that also
Maxim.
in the Lights of Plane?
No, I can't remember. That was quite near the Red Bridge in Rotterdam. She was in Rotterdam. That's right.
Oh, yeah, the Red Bridge in Rotterdam. Okay, yeah.
So I played there. I played at Maxime as well, but I'd never heard of Crazy Pianos. So Steven said, yeah, you should play there. I said, yeah, what's the money like? And he mentioned, I said, no. Norway was too good, So then I ran into Stevie J.
Did you already know him?
I knew him from Norway. I met him at the airport, and I heard about him because he's just phenomenal, And so I talked to him a little bit, and then Steven said, oh, by the way, Stevie J is playing there. I went, really? I said, I'm going to go down and have a look, So I flew in, and Bjorn van Dijl owned the place at that.
Van Dyke. Oh.
Bjorn van Dijl.
Van Dijl.
Bjorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it Van Dyke?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Let's just say Bjorn owned it at that point.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting because I thought it was Bjorn van Dijk.
No, Van Dijk.
Oh, wow. God,
Yeah, yeah.
all these years.
All these years,
All
man.
these years.
Oh, my God.
Like it matters. But anyway.
So anyway, I flew in there for a weekend, and then he just said, "Hey, man, would you like to play here?" I said, "Sure, but I got a schedule. You know, if I could fly in for a couple of weeks and fly out." He said, "Yeah, that's great." So that's what I did for a long time, for years. Yeah.
And that's where I met you.
Yeah.
In Scheveningen, I do believe.
Yeah. So I was just flying in, flying out, and that was good. It kept everything still a little bit fresh, you know, and yeah. And then there was 2 other times that I just moved to Holland and played at Crazy Pianos.
And was there any kind of learning curve at Crazy Pianos for you as a piano entertainer, or was that already something?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. Like if you're playing in a dueling piano thing, if you're playing solo, you know what you're going to do next. You know how, you kind of have a feeling for it on your own of where you're going to build things. So, you know, it's a team effort when you're working with 2 people and a drummer. So you have to keep an eye on what's going on with the audience, but also you have to play along when somebody's playing their song. You know, you can't sit there idly.
No.
And that was a really big ear workout. It was really great because you're learning songs on the fly, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit lost at the moment. I've seen a few new players come in and they're not really catching on to that they should be adding a little bit to a song.
It's a show with 3 people, not taking turns at the piano.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
and
correct.
You need someone, even if they can't play, then they should be supporting you in other ways.
Yeah,
you know,
indeed.
Like clapping along, standing up. You know,
absolutely, it's
BVs,
a full show.
BVs, whatever you can do. You know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of beginner players who especially aren't good at piano.
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of new players come into it with very little piano knowledge.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, I think that's less important than entertainment and singing skills.
You know what? When I was in Norway, I remember I had a chance to see some other players, and there's kind of 3 things, huh? There's your ability to play, ability to sing, and your ability to make a party, to entertain, right?
Yeah.
If you have 2 of those things, you're set. If you can only have one of them, entertainment will take care of it. Really. Yeah. I mean, there's not many that just have one, to be honest.
No.
But I think you need to have 2 of those things, you know, and one of them should be entertaining.
Yeah, because you also
so
hear
there it is.
really bad singers that are great entertainers and can play the piano.
Yeah.
Or, you have all combinations of those things, you know.
Yeah.
And I think when I was green, I really saw it as you can't do this. But really, I was one of those people with 2 things. I could play and sing, but I couldn't entertain.
Right.
You know?
And
that's actually the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Like if you can't entertain, that's actually a problem, you know?
It is a problem because, you know, especially nowadays, there's so much music. People have it on their phones. It's, you know, it's everywhere. So if you're just playing without grabbing somebody's attention, you're just like wallpaper. You know, you're just part of the environment that everybody's used to.
Perfect for a lobby lounge.
Yeah. Or, you know, like
Which
a
I did
DJ
a
just
lot
has to do their thing, move their buttons, and nobody's looking at them because it's not entertaining. They're listening to the music and moving to what they know, you know.
Yeah.
But the entertainment should draw you to a stage, you know.
Absolutely. What about your influences? Can you tell me about some of your major influences as a musician?
Well, a few things pop into mind because as a musician, like for songwriting and stuff like that, my buddy Barry Colson, when I was in high school, he turned me on to the Beatles, and I was like, yeah, I heard about these guys. They're, you know, I don't know, kind of old fashioned, isn't it? But I listened to a lot of their stuff, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
Just the body of work is ridiculous, you know.
It is. I think if you just hear their hits, then you'll be sadly disappointed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, so from a songwriter's standpoint, which I was always interested in, it was fascinating that there was no one song that sounded like another, you know, apart from maybe the early 60s, you know, 63 or something. But yeah, so, and singers and stuff like that, like I could go from Stevie Wonder to, I don't know, what's his name? Ryan, the guy from One Republic. Ryan Tedder, is it? Is that his
Oh,
name?
I don't know his name, but I know who you're
Fantastic,
talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that definitely is your forte, where your sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And entertaining.
Wow. I would say, um, oh my God, from entertaining. I don't know. I saw Michael Jackson live. I was lucky enough to see a strange character as a person, but man, that guy could entertain. I'll tell you what.
Uh,
Yeah.
what about local people?
Local people.
Yeah, people that around you, other players.
Oh my God. Well, unfortunately, in Norway, wasn't it? I didn't. I saw a couple of people, but not for very long. But
Ah,
when I came to Crazy Pianos, then I was like, oh,
yeah, you had all these players doing their different things.
crazy, and you're around them. You know,
Yeah,
you can see them.
Yeah.
Stevie J stands out.
Yes, of course.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Literally.
you grab people as well, man.
Oh,
It's,
really?
It's
Wow.
not normal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think you stay on top of the repertoire as well, which is really, really cool.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
I think you work really hard.
Yeah,
Really
I'm
great.
still learning. It's,
Yeah, of
it's a
course.
never-ending battle, isn't
No,
it?
of course. I'm going to mention all the people that you probably have on your on your show here. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Johnny Corsi,
Yeah.
crazy, and all of these guys are, you know,
You kind of
great players as well.
kind of take little
Just-
bits from everybody, don't you?
Of course, you grab some little things, you know.
Yeah.
Try not to use it around them, you know. But
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's the thing.
Or you try to make it your own, I guess.
yeah,
you know.
yeah, exactly.
Do you sing in different languages?
I'm starting to. You know, I was doing a thing in the mountains this in Austria this past 2 winters, and I started asking the people, yeah, where are you guys from? And someone would say Italy, you know. So I'd do a little bit of Italian that I know, not very little, but they're happy.
Bella
You know?
ciao.
No, o solo mio or
Oh,
something like this, you know.
solo mio.
Yeah. And I do a big theatrical version of it, you know. So they're like, oh, they're standing up.
That's
And,
great. Yeah, that's great.
Dutch, I can sing a couple of songs in
Yes,
Dutch.
you
You know,
can.
I know
Like
you
that. Yes, I
sing a
know.
lot more than I do. And I did some French. Johnny and I did a show in Austria. It was a French-based show, a night in Paris. So we learned some French songs.
How do you feel about singing in different languages? Because from a personal point of view, I find it's somewhat intimidating sometimes.
Totally.
And nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And I always, I'm a little bit kind of self-conscious about, my accent, you know.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, here's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Because years ago, when I was in Switzerland, I thought, I'm going to learn a Swiss song, you know. And I learned it phonetically, had no idea what it meant. Now I do, because I speak German. But I think people really love it when you try, you know. It's not about being perfect, because they clearly know from the first words out of your mouth, you're probably speaking to them in English anyway. Then you break out a song in Dutch. I think it's nice when they have a little accent. It's something different from them, and yeah. I've never seen an audience be disappointed with you trying to sing in their language.
Yeah, I have.
Never. Have you?
Yeah. Like, and very
Where?
pedantically so.
Norway?
Crazy Pianos.
In Crazy Pianos.
And then when I say that, like, someone asked for a song. And I said, well, I know that. And I sung it with my accent.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're not from the Netherlands, are you? I said, no, I'm not. But, you know, she goes, oh, right, okay, yeah. Like it was a problem, you know? And I was like, for God's sake, you know, you can clearly hear that I'm English. Like, why should that be?
Wow.
And actually, it's not so much that. I think it was more other people saying, you shouldn't sing Dutch songs. And I'm like, no, I should, because they're what get the crowd going.
I was put off for years because I thought there was quite a few Dutch guys playing at Crazy Pianos initially.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to let them do the Dutch songs
Yeah.
because they sound perfect doing it. But when I do one in Dutch, I make something of it. I said, listen, I'm from Canada. Please don't laugh, but just join in. I'm going to try something for you. You know, here goes.
Yeah.
I can still do that today, pretending I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I use it as a thing, right?
And people say this, right? And this is the thing. People say that, and that works perfectly.
Yeah.
But when you start to live here and you learn the language, and look, I came at a later stage for singing Dutch, that is, when I was at 46 or 7 or something. So my accent is very established.
Yeah.
So even though I spent many, many hours on trying to get the pronunciation right, and then I start speaking Dutch, and then there's an expectation and sometimes a disappointment. But it varies from place to place, right? So sometimes it'll be like, oh, that's awesome. Or, oh, where are you from? Because I hear an accent.
Yeah, there's something
and then
there.
I think,
Yeah.
cool, okay.
Yeah.
You're only just hearing the accent. That means
Yeah.
it's not so bad.
Yeah,
you know?
right. You'll find this funny.
Yeah.
When I'm in Austria and I'm speaking German, people say, are you from Holland?
Really?
I'm serious. I'm thinking, wait now. So I'm a Canadian guy living in Austria, speaking German, but I have a Dutch accent in German?
Yes. And
What is that?
I know why. Cool. I know why.
Why?
Because you have an American or Canadian accent and the vowel shapes are similar to Dutch.
To Dutch, maybe.
They use these or and ear, they use these sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I remember hearing back in the day Dutch people speak, I thought they sounded somewhat American with their accent.
Oh, I see. That's
Do you ever
interesting.
think about that they really say R?
Yeah, but in German, you don't pronounce the R's at all.
Absolutely.
Basically.
So then you...
But I don't pronounce the R's. I
No,
seriously
but it might
don't.
be other parts of your vowel shapes
But yeah,
that
must be the
influence the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I find that hilarious.
I find it's a bit of a burden on me. I like to assimilate where I go, you know?
Right.
And I find it a struggle. It's like, I just want to be in the background. I don't want you to notice my horrible Australian accent.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, I think it's something to be celebrated. You're not from here, but you know how to communicate with people, and that should be good enough, I think. That should be cool.
Yeah, and most of the time it is.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that happens.
Yeah.
But maybe I could count a handful of times where people are like, oh, you're not an actual native speaker. It's like, well, who really cares? I just want you to sing along.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be the next Marco Passato.
Yeah, exactly.
But aside from that, can you tell me a crazy gig story?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I'm sure there's many, but really, give us something.
Have you ever been fired from a gig?
Oh. Well, at the actual gig, what I'm playing?
You're playing a gig and then a few days later they go, sorry. No.
I've definitely been told, you're not right for this gig. Yes. Multiple times.
Okay. Well, it happened to me, I think, once or twice. So the first time, it's not a crazy story, but it's a story that was like crazy and how it ended up, you know? So I was playing in Basel, in Switzerland, and it was a weird gig. I didn't belong there. I really didn't, you know? It was like in a lobby, but an open lobby with a lot of marble everywhere, you know, and there was a piano.
Oh my God.
You can imagine how loud that's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Constant. Can you turn down? I was playing out of like a monitor on the floor, you know, like there was no setup. It was really lame. So, and there was one night, there was an a cappella group called the Flying Pickets. You ever heard of those guys?
No.
Amazing. Anyway, they're English, I think. And they came in and they were singing around the piano. We were having a great old time, you know. And then the management the next day said, can we have a meeting? I said, listen, I think it's not going to work out, you know. And I went, oh, why not? He said, it's really loud and you've got long hair. I had long hair. I had hair.
So you didn't fit their image.
No, but I had this headshot, you know, with short hair. I looked like a banker more than an entertainer. It was terrible.
Okay, that's interesting.
Anyway, but I said, listen, for the agent, I said, listen, they want to fire me, you know, and she said, well, it's okay. I guess you're just not going to work, you know. I said, listen, that's impossible. We're 7 days into the gig. I said, let me look at this contract. So it says after 3 days, everybody can walk away from the gig, no problem. You can say, it didn't work out for us. You're not suitable. Yeah. But we're 7 days in, so, you know.
Too late.
So then she didn't want to negotiate because she was an agent holding down the gig, right? She wanted to book more people there. So I had to do it on my own. And they paid me for the rest of the time, and I went on a vacation afterward for like 3 weeks.
Fantastic.
So I was paid and didn't play. But yeah, it was disappointing, you know. It went even worse. They were trying to really get me out of it to say, oh yeah, you're doing drugs and stuff like that. I'm like, "Dude, what is wrong with you guys? Just pay the thing and I'll leave. Otherwise, I'm going to keep playing every night.
Yeah.
That's it." So they paid it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, man. But what about something really manic, crazy happening at the gig?
Well, I was in Norway. I mean, this, maybe it's, I don't know, manic. Okay, here's one. There's so many of them. It's ridiculous. I was in Trondheim playing, and there's like, they at that point they let people, get up on things and dance and stuff like that. And man, there were these two very good-looking women, dressed similarly as if they were hired by the club to dance, and they were standing on bass bins or whatever, and dancing along, and both of them were really drunk, and both of them fall down, cut themselves, are bleeding onto their white things, and get back up and still. I'm like, wow, this is like the Wild West. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
They were actually bleeding profusely, or?
Yeah, well, bleeding on themselves. Yeah, like they cut themselves, like on glass. There was another time I was playing in Switzerland in Lenzerheide, and they just made a big bar. I was initially playing in a cafe bar, and it wasn't big enough, so they built a whole bar downstairs, and I was the only piano player for the winter. Massive. It was like 500 people every night, 600 people, and they picked me up from the piano as I was singing "Gangster's Paradise" and walked me through on a chair through the whole audience, and they brought me back.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Well, you must have been pretty light, man.
Dude, that was crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff.
How has this affected your lifestyle? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What we say about living this kind of life as a piano entertainer?
I don't know. I don't think of it as a lifestyle. I don't go, what kind of lifestyle do I have? I'm a guy that's a musician, has gigs, whatever, I don't, I'm not tagged on to, I'm a musician, so I do a bunch of things. I play in bands and stuff like that. But as a piano player, I think it's been great for me to be in places longer than a tourist would be. So you get a real flavor for where you are, country or city or whatever. And you get a real feeling that you're kind of living there a little bit,
Exactly.
For my family, I think at times it's been difficult being away on the weekends when they have free time and I'm not there because I'm out earning money,
I mean, I guess the upside to that is that you're home during the week to take the kids to school, pick them up, or just to hang out,
Luckily, I mean, my wife has been great with that. She's always, she understood it. She's come to see me in various cities and countries, wherever I've played.
Yeah.
We've been in the Caribbean together. We've been in Norway together, here in Holland. But once my daughter was born, and when she was of school age, then we settled back in Austria, and then I just do weekend things, either in Austria and Switzerland or here in Holland. Yeah. It's been okay.
Did you meet your wife on the gig?
No, that's something I was determined not to do. Really.
Oh, that's good.
As you can imagine, well, you don't have to imagine. You meet plenty of people. With what you do. And I had some good and bad experiences there, and it got to a point I just wanted to change up how I would meet, a potential girlfriend or whatever, that pattern was leading only in one direction. So I literally stopped seeing people for a year.
It's a good idea.
I made a decision. And
that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it wasn't I didn't decide on a year, but I decided at this point, I've got to take a break. I want to try to meet somebody in a different way.
Live with yourself.
And I met my wife. She was laying laying by a lake in Lenzerheide in Switzerland, and I was jogging around it, and I saw her there.
And you jogged around her.
And I jogged around again, for sure I did. And a friend of mine, Sandra, was chatting with her at one point, and I went, I know Sandra. I'm going to go over there and say hello, Yeah. So I said hello. I said, this is Sibylla, and we met, and it was a slow, long process. But we're married for 24 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's well done, by the way.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. When I made a decision, and that was it. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and give yourself a little bit of advice as a young piano player starting out, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think put yourself in situation. I mean, I did this. I think you can't be comfortable. I think you have to make yourself continually uncomfortable so that you can grow.
That is such good advice.
You know, like I was really comfortable doing my own gigs. For instance, it started in Halifax. I had that down. I knew what to do, but it was just too comfortable. So then I made myself really uncomfortable and moved to Toronto where I had nothing.
Yes.
Then I had to come to Europe, uncomfortable again. I had to suss out the solo thing. Then I went to Crazies. That was extremely uncomfortable because you're dealing with people that knew how to do that thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for me, way more talented, piano-wise and stuff like that, So those uncomfortable situations made me grow, and hopefully I think I learned a lot. So I would suggest to always put yourself in a situation that's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think I've based my life on that, of like, I'm going to go and do that because I don't know how to do it and I want to be good at it.
Right.
And if I don't do that, I'll never be good at it.
Right.
And I'm going to go there because that's where it's happening, even though it's extremely uncomfortable. I don't even know what's going to happen. But every time I've done it, I've grown another foot.
Absolutely.
And even at the age of 46, 7 or so, moving back here and assimilating and dropping all my gigs. I had so many good gigs. I had it all wired. It was going really well for me. Had a house, had a car, brand new car. It was like, let's go to Europe. Sold everything, left, came here and started again, And for a human being, that is a massive learning, growing,
Absolutely.
everything. It's just, it makes you something special. Yeah. It really does.
I went to the States with my young family when Tia was 2. We went to the States for like almost 2 years. Dude, that was that felt like I was going back to university. Like I had nothing. I came there with some money, and I thought I could do some banking and maybe buy a house. And I was like a zero there. There was a whole different system of how everything worked financially. And it was just, I was a nobody.
Where was that?
Just wherever I was. I mean, I first went to Washington, D.C.,
Oh, wow.
And then
expensive place.
Huh?
Expensive place, Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in Virginia.
Especially to buy a house.
Yeah, ridiculous. So then I ended up in, I first scouted it out first, and then I ended up in Little Rock in Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's cheap. So
we
rented a house there on a golf course for like $1,100 a month. It was ridiculous, a huge house, But it was difficult financially because I was leaving. I had everything organized for myself in Europe, Luckily, we still owned a house in Austria, so we could come back to it. So that's what we did. Yeah, it's just too ridiculous.
Yeah. What about new players? If you were a new player starting out now, what advice would you give to new players that want to get into it, that have no idea what to do? How can they get into it?
How can they get into it?
Yeah, like they want to, hey, I'm a young player. I'm 17 and I want to become a piano entertainer. I want to do what you did for a living. What should I do?
I think you should listen to people, go out to where the piano players are, like in the best places to be Crazy Pianos. Because you'll see like...
In Europe, yeah.
Yeah, in Europe, yeah. But in general, like for instance, if you're in Canada, there's hardly any piano bar scene. Hardly. Where could you go there? Nowhere. In America, plenty of places to go.
Yeah.
And here in Holland, there's quite a few piano players.
And piano bars.
Yeah. And of course in Norway.
Of course. But I mean, like if I'm going to be getting into it, what are some steps I can take to prepare myself for being able to do the job?
Well, first of all, just get a good repertoire together.
Yeah.
Just get songs that you love to play songs that are in the charts somehow, you know, also some standards. I've heard some young piano players grabbing some older music that really, really works, and they got it. You know, you can't always just do the new. You have to have a mix of everything.
No, humans are all ages.
Yeah, exactly. But I would really, like I say, make yourself uncomfortable. Try to get a gig at Crazy Pianos, or
By what? Just rocking up?
walking up there, say, I'd like to audition or something, you know?
Yeah.
Play on a Sunday afternoon, or try to get in there, play a couple of songs on a Friday night, you know? That's what I would just try to put myself in situations where I get a chance to play and get a chance to learn. Yeah, but put your own repertoire together that you can feel confident about, you know? Work on your craft, the more you know.
As in you're playing and singing?
Yeah, the more you know, the better you are, then the easier it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where are you performing now? Can you give us some idea of what you're doing now?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm here in Holland, so I'm playing at Crazy Pianos. I also do their annual theater tour, so it's now 10 years I've been doing that.
Yeah.
So we're in theaters throughout Holland. I also do a lot of solo work and corporate work in Switzerland, a little bit in Germany, in Austria, and occasionally I do some corporate things here in Holland as well. But I would say most of that stuff is in Switzerland, you know. So I have various setups. So I do things from solo gigs to a duo or a dueling show. That doesn't happen very often. Sometimes in Switzerland, you know, but I generally just do the Crazy Pianos thing. I have a band that goes from 3 people right up to 7. I have a Phil Collins tribute band now.
Oh, yes.
Johnny,
Yes.
That's 12 people, 12
Awesome.
person band. It's awesome. So for me, I like to keep things a little bit interesting, you know. If I do too much of one thing, you know.
And, of course, you have your original music.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
I do write as well.
So that's on Spotify, yeah?
Yes, I'm on Spotify. You can find me.
Kevin Owen.
Kevin Owen. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I have quite a bit of music up there, but I'm also writing just in general. And some of the stuff is getting out to other artists. And so some things
Fantastic.
coming
I
up.
love your original music. It's absolutely
thanks,
fantastic.
man.
It's really good.
Oh, thank
Really.
you. Thanks.
Production's amazing too.
I'm doing all that myself.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You said you had some help from online.
I did. I had mixing. I do mixing sometimes online because the mix is kind of everything, you know.
Yeah.
And some of those guys also master. So I've now been working with one guy quite a bit. He's in LA. And yeah, it's actually, I go to a website called soundbetter.com. It's amazing. If you need production work or if you need background vocals, I mean, there's Grammy winners on there. The guy that I work with is a Grammy winner.
Amazing.
It's crazy. So I send him my mix and I say, this is what I have, you know, maybe you can build on that. He said, yeah, sounds great. Send me all of the tracks without effects and stuff like that. And then he does a mix and I go yes and no and da-da-da.
Okay.
But I do spend a lot of time on my own mix, you know.
What do you use? What DAW do you use?
Huh?
What
I have
DAW?
Logic. I use Logic.
Logic, okay.
Yeah.
And does he use all of the platforms or just Logic?
What is he using?
Cubase?
Yeah, he's using Logic as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. I mean, a lot of people like that have like 3 or 4 different DAWs. And
It depends. But people get set in their own universe of how it works for them, you know.
You got your plugins you like, you got your...
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, what I'd love to do now is hear a song from you.
Oh, my God.
So
Okay, here we go.
head over to the piano.
Yep. Let's
And
do that.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm wanting you to play something that you're super comfortable playing, like something that you really feel comfortable playing.
Okay. Let me see here. Is this set up?
It's ready to go. You just have to hit play.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time you come around, how did you take control? I could see the fire light before my world implodes. Tonight has something wonderful. My bad habits lead to late nights and then alone. Conversation with a stranger, I bet he knows. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose, approve. I do my bad habits lead to wide eyes stare into space. I know I lose control of the things that I say. I've been looking for a way out, but I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, my bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. Every pure intention is when the good times start. Holding over everything to make the first time spark. Started out with neon lights, then it all went dark. I only know how to go too far. My bad habits lead to late nights and then alone. Conversation with a stranger, I barely know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose, approve. I do my bad habits lead to wide eyes stare into space. I know I lose control of the things that I say. I've been looking for a way out, but I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, my bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you.
Nice one, man. Yeah.
Shorten it up a bit.
It is, but I like it. I like it a lot. That's an awesome song.
That's a cool song, yeah. Ed Sheeran.
Tell me some of the tricks and tips that you use when you're entertaining, like practical tips that people could use if they had no idea what they were doing.
I've seen people come to the piano with really not knowing, they want to try. I've seen people at Crazy Pianos try out, and the first thing I notice is that they're frightened, as you would be, right? You're uncomfortable. You've maybe tried at home and worked it, but there's an audience, Heads are down, they're doing their song and making sure they get the lyrics right, make sure they get the chords right. But there's an audience. There's an audience. All of that you have to have under your fingers, and you have to look at people, basically. But I would say the biggest thing for a new piano player, like if you got your song going, and if you don't know how to end a song, nobody knows that you've actually played it. Like I've seen quite a few new players that they don't know how to end a song. So there's no like punch. If you do everything else wrong, but you end it right, people will remember that you actually performed. Oh my God. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to clap now. Or, right. So I would say just have your endings together. Make sure you focus on the people a little bit, But some tricks that I've discovered over the years, is, I don't know, for instance, in a more intimate setting where I play in this very tiny little cool bar in the mountains, and people are sitting around, they're having their glasses of this and that, pretty high end. They want to be entertained, but they don't know if they should be, So I like to talk to people a little bit, in a setting like that. So I get their attention. So, if I finish and nothing happens, I'll say, oh my God, I don't need applause, but it does make me happier, or something. Or
that's a good line.
Yeah, or it does make the night go faster, or whatever. Yeah. Or it makes me better, or whatever, I
notice actually there's a few things that you say.
Oh yeah.
When you're playing that make me laugh every time because they work, Yeah.
Can you? I don't know. What else do I do? I don't know what that would be.
Now, because I remember thinking that at the time, right?
Oh really? Okay.
Like. I can always obviously think of Stevie J because Stevie J always had these, are you happy? Then what are you doing here?
Right.
So that. But you have a few things like that, you would say.
Okay. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have like a regular thing that I would do.
No, but you do.
But maybe I fall into it, yeah.
You do, but you're not conscious of it because
Yeah,
you just
maybe.
do it, you know what I mean? So the couple, like we were talking previous to this about an entertainer we know, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he, what was he saying?
He said, oh, yeah. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And of course, you disarm people immediately.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly. So
you know.
getting some interesting catchphrases and trying them out and seeing what works is a good idea.
I love comedy, you know,
Yeah,
I love it. And I like to make people laugh just in general. And I'm self-effacing and all of that, you know. So I have no problems making fun of myself or doing something stupid, you know. If there's no response from the audience after a while, okay, if they're eating, like at Crazy Pianos, there's the beginning of the night and the end of the night. The beginning, they're going to eat, you know, but you do want to engage them a little bit. So if they're not responding, then I'll say, okay, where's the party table? Where's the party table? And someone will go, you know, oh my, okay. So whenever I ask you to sing, you have to sing along, okay, or something. Or if there's a big group, I'll say, what's the name of your group? You know, what company are you with?
Yes.
And they'll say, so whenever I say the name of the company, I want you to scream. You know, it's
That's
just
a great tip.
dumb things like that. You know, it's because they will be your fans for the night.
And one thing I noticed you say at the gig, is everyone happy? Is everybody happy?
Yeah.
And that just provokes a response.
It does.
Or I've noticed that if the music's not connecting, that you start just asking questions.
Yeah. I'll just stop. I'll say, wait now, hold it. I didn't hear anybody sing there, you know?
Yeah.
Or just whatever. Like if you want them to sing, you can make them sing. They just have to be happily involved.
Yeah. I think you have to show them that you have confidence. The minute you let them win, they don't trust you anymore and they won't do what you say.
Absolutely. It has to be a happy, like a funny thing, like you're not forcing them, but you're drawing them into your world.
I have seen that. And that's quite funny when people, right, that's it, you got to sing. It's like, oh,
That doesn't work.
this is going south, dude. I think you should probably.
No, it's got to be like, I've gotten off the stand, you know, off the stage and gone out to people and said, okay, are you ready to sing? And someone will back me up, you know, on the piano, and then they're singing along with the song or whatever.
Great, yeah.
Just something,
And I got to say,
you got to have fun.
I'll never forget when I first went to Crazy Pianos and I had no idea how to do any of this, but I could sing and play because I was a lobby player, a jazz musician.
Right.
And I played in bands that were playing songs and stuff, you know. Wasn't my thing to entertain.
Right.
So I just thought, you know, I know nobody here, so I can fail. It's all good, right?
Right. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yes. Like let yourself fail.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? I'm going to fuck up and that's okay because I don't know anyone here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to bed and they're going to go home and go, this guy was so bad, but I'm never going to meet them again. So whatever. Sucked in. You had to sit there and listen to me learn. That's how I psychologically dealt with it.
Well, I never thought that way, but you know, I just didn't care about failing either. I just want to have fun. And I make fun of myself all the time. And people generally enjoy that when I make fun of me.
But I remember trying to go into the crowd to get someone to come on the piano and really people were like, no, I'm not coming up on the piano. You know? And when you get to that point, it's a really dangerous place to be in.
It is.
Because you've you can't keep going if someone's going to not.
No, because now people are focused on
but
them
you've got
not
to find
wanting
a
to
new
go
tact
and you're
it's got
wanting
to be
them
quick.
to go.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got to, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not going to get there, can you sing with me?
Yeah.
You know, just stand there and sing with me. You know? I've seen it even recently happen where someone tried that and they went into the audience and they were just like, no, not doing it, no. And
I've had that as well. I go to the next person.
yeah, and that wasn't happening for the next person. And then in the end you gave up. And went, oh, okay, you guys are not into it. Let's get back to it then.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you just got to keep going. And don't let
or
that
change it up completely.
Yeah, don't let it hurt
we're
you.
going to sing everything. You know, you don't have to sing anymore. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Like 99% of the time, people will clap. I mean, that's the dumbest song on earth.
but you know what?
But
though?
they will do it. And then you've got them already.
Yeah, that reminds me of early days at Crazy Pianos when I was just speaking English and I realized that the Dutch people were good at English, but sometimes they didn't pick up on English.
Yeah.
And that you could change words and nobody would know.
But you get a kick out of it.
Yeah, so if you're happy and you know it, shit your pants. and no one would hear it. And Aaron Sands would be on the floor laughing, falling over, you know. And I changed the words to rude words of Hotel California. Do you know that one? Should I say it?
I think you should, man. This is your podcast.
Okay. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of clitoris rising up through bush hair.
There it is.
And now no one would get it.
No, they wouldn't get it.
They would not get it.
No.
But Owen Sands would be on the floor wetting his pants.
It's beautiful. That's also something like,
yeah.
for instance, if you don't have the audience in your hand, maybe at the beginning of the night, as long as you're having fun on stage, people get drawn into that as well.
Yeah.
They do.
Crap your pants, everybody. Crap your pants, everybody. You've got the clap, clap, clap. All those things. That is quite funny, you know. And it is you know, that's the R-rated part of it, if you like.
Exactly.
Because you can play for kids, but you wouldn't be saying that to the kids.
It's generally like, you know, that's after dinner, right?
Let's talk gear a bit. Now, this is not your setup.
It's not my setup. And the reason for that is that I was flying in here. So
yes. So what do you normally use?
I have a Korg PA4X, so I use that for solo stuff. Mm-hmm. But I use this keyboard at Crazy Pianos, so that's very familiar to me. Yeah. So that's really
cool.
So
do you use the Korg when you go to Norway?
I have done, but
what's the other thing you use?
It's come back always a little bit damaged or something. Yeah. So I've actually, the last time I was in Norway, I used an iPad app set up.
What was the app?
Oh God, I should have gotten that out to have a look at.
It doesn't matter. Like
there's a bunch of them just for rhythm stuff, you know. Yeah.
And did you find that a good way of working or not a good way of working?
I found that you can spend time to make it good, you know. But I really believe that hardware is way better than using software-based stuff.
Yeah.
It just sounds better. It sounds meatier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's reliable.
It's reliable. Yeah. This is pretty reliable because I tried it a long time ago as well, and it wasn't reliable. But it's pretty reliable now. But it's just not the same. I don't know why.
So what you've got here is you've got my keyboard and my Roland BK7M Arranger module.
Yeah.
That's what I use in Norway.
Yeah.
Because it's robust, it's light.
Yeah.
It travels well.
I think I might get one of these.
Yeah. And the sounds are good enough.
They're good enough. It's not like the latest sounds.
No, but
people aren't looking for that.
No.
Like if you listen to a band, you're only going to hear one drum sound.
Exactly. You know.
Drums.
But this does have different sounds and they're passable.
Yeah.
They're not the latest, greatest, but they're better than hokey pokey. They're not hokey pokey.
Absolutely.
So that's why, for me, it could work. And the way I use it is I make lists of songs, and when you press that on the dial, then it sets up all the MIDI keyboard. Yeah, and we've got this plugged in MIDI at the moment.
Right. So you MIDI to this, and this has also keyboard sounds in it, right?
Yes, it does. So it's
when
a
you're
complete module.
When you're flying in somewhere, you want to keep it as small as possible, right?
Yeah.
And so, that makes sense. So you just have a little controller, right?
Yeah, the A49, the Roland A49, and that works perfectly with this. So, but you said also that you used a drum machine sometimes.
I did. That's really digging into the dustbins for that one. But it's the
DR770.
DR770, yeah.
That's the Boss.
It's Boss, yeah. It still sounds good, man.
It sounds good, but it was not a very good architecture. It didn't fill. So
it has fills.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have. Yes, it does have fills. It fills to the next one. There's a fill button.
But you have to.
But you have to like, for instance, if you went back to, like if you stopped it halfway through the song, you know, either with a pedal or physically, it wouldn't go to the top of a bar. You have to go reset so it goes to the top of the bar.
You know what is behind you? It's the DR770 on the shelf there. Have a look.
Oh, that's a different one.
Is that
that's the 880.
Oh, the 880.
That came afterward.
Yes, okay.
No, mine's smaller. Does that still work?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
But it's actually interesting because that one is very different to the 770.
I think
the 770 used to fill, but this was the new thing with the great sounds and everything. I went and bought that, and I realised that it doesn't fill into the next pattern. super annoying.
Who thought of that?
And I had to come up with some bastardized way of making it work. Which I
The
won't
thing
go
about
into.
the DR770 is that there's no backlit display.
Well, that's just frustrating.
That's just frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but
That's-
then
yeah.
I brought that back because there was some sort of electrical connection problem. So I took it apart and soldered it together, and now it works perfectly again.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds okay. It'll get you through a night. Yeah,
That's
but
great.
it doesn't have any sounds. So then you need a keyboard that has all the sounds in it. You know?
Oh, it's just got drum sounds.
Yeah.
See, the 880 has bass sounds as well.
Oh, that's great.
So then, yeah. But it works really well.
Yeah.
But, no, I'd never ever use it again. This thing is fantastic. The way it works, as in you can fill into things. You can fill into the same groove.
Yeah.
And you can use the pedal, which we've got set up there.
Fantastic.
Start, stop. And
I might get one. It's easy. And then it means I have to get one of these if I travel to Norway. I don't know. I don't go there that often. So my keyboard that I have, the PA4X, it's heavy, but I throw it in my car and I use it for all my gigs in Switzerland and Austria.
moving on, what do you look for in a drummer? What kind of things do you need from a drummer playing in dueling or solo pianos?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, someone has good timing. That's number one, because if you're used to playing with a drum machine, which is perfect on time, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be expressive, but it's perfectly in time.
Huh.
So I have a keen sense of when something's on time and when it's not. So that's the first thing. But also just somebody who's aware of, I don't know, who keeps an eye on what you're doing, can fill in the right places, doesn't overplay, doesn't underplay. Maybe it's a lot to ask for. I don't know, but somebody who's just musically aware. There, that's it.
And communication.
And communicate.
Yeah.
That keeps an eye on what you're doing,
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think the most attentive drummer I've ever seen is Bas Meindert.
Oh, really?
He's literally just watching you, like
Which is great.
looking for cues or whatever.
But that
it's
is
amazing.
Perfect. Yeah, that is perfect. You really need them to watch you.
Yeah, because
That's,
if you're going to do something different, then
Yes.
he's unbelievable.
There's also another one I've worked with. This is great. You probably played with her too, Ninka Overmars.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she also is
she
like
also
constantly
is looking.
watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, I find
everybody at Crazy Pianos, all the drummers are amazing.
that. Yeah.
So, but
That's true. They
it's
are.
it's really keeping an eye on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Keeping the vibe of the song. That's really important.
Before we go to your last song, where can people find you online?
Online.
Yeah.
Well, they can go to KevinOwenLive.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that original or is that for everything?
That's for everything, but there's a lot of original stuff on there, yeah.
Okay.
But I have a YouTube channel as well with all of the videos that I made for my own songs,
Yeah.
But I'm going to be doing more live stuff there.
Uh-huh.
But you can find everything on the website. From
What about
pictures to the YouTube
TikTok
channel.
or Instagram or any of those?
Instagram is all there, yeah. So you can go to my website. You can find all of my connections right there.
You haven't started using TikTok yet?
I'm part of it, but I don't know.
It's good. I like it
Yeah.
because shorts. That's all I can say. Shorts.
Yeah, but YouTube is now doing,
Everybody is, but TikTok's the winner.
they are the winner at the moment.
And it's not just about the fact that you can do shorts. It's how they present it to people. And how
YouTube's going to start paying money for shorts. Really. You can
Really?
start making money on that, yeah.
How?
I don't know. I just saw something recently about that they
They're
want to
going
take
to
over that
monetize them,
market.
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, with ads and stuff. Then you're going to have to subscribe and another subscription.
Another subscription.
I know.
Yeah,
Can I just
yeah.
pay someone 10 grand and have everything a month?
Seriously.
It's over the top,
Seriously.
isn't it?
No, but yeah, Instagram and my YouTube stuff and yeah.
And your own channel,
My own channel, yeah.
KevinOwen.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's get a last song from you, Kevin.
Sure.
What would you like to play?
You're from Australia.
Yes, I am.
Yes. I'm going to sing a song from an Australian guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Who?
Actually, he's a country artist. Huh?
Uh-huh.
His name is Keith Urban.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is all set up. Is that right?
Do you want the same beat or
Ah, there it is. And that should be,
you might have to tap the tempo though?
Yeah.
Unless you know the number, which you
I
do.
know the number.
57, wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now, what you can do is
Press this and it's an intro.
where it says intro,
Where's intro?
it says intro and ending, and then it says start, stop
Oh, yeah.
to the left. But you know what? I recommend not doing that. I would just start off on number 1 because the intro is really. And I don't know.
Is that the exact intro?
Yes. I know it well.
It's not going. Huh? I'm going to use it without. Alone in this house again tonight. Got the TV on, sound turned down, and a bottle of wine. There's pictures of you and I on the walls around me. Way that it was, it could have been, surrounds me. I'll never get over you by hiding this way. I've never been the kind who ever let my feelings show. I thought that being strong meant never losing your self-control. And I'm just drunk enough to let go of my pain, to hell with my pride, let it fall like rain from my eyes. Tonight I wanna cry. Would it help if I turned a sad song on all by myself? Would sure hurt me hard now that you're gone. Or maybe unfold some old yellow lost love letters. Could hurt bad before it gets better. Never get over you by walking away. I've never been the kind who ever let my feelings show. I thought that being strong meant never losing your self-control. But I'm just drunk enough to let go of my pain, to hell with my pride, let it fall like rain from my eyes. Tonight I wanna cry. I've never been the kind who ever let my feelings show. I thought that being strong meant never losing your self-control. And I'm just drunk enough to let go of my pain, to hell with my pride, let it fall like rain from my eyes. 'Cause tonight I wanna cry. 'Cause tonight I wanna cry. 'Cause tonight I wanna cry. Love that song.
Very nice,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
I love
Thanks.
it. It suits you, that song.
Oh, thank
for
you.
sure. It's funny, you know, because I heard a few songs in there.
Yeah.
I heard Easy Like Sunday Morning,
Yes, indeed.
and I heard Wind Beneath My Wings.
Correct.
Yes. Do you get that, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
da-da-da.
And at the beginning of the verse, I also heard Use Somebody. Ba-ba-da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Use Somebody.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
That I didn't hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a country music. They grab stuff. Huh?
And they do. Yeah,
They
absolutely.
really, really do. Yeah, but that's a beautiful song. Yeah.
It is a really beautiful song.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I haven't actually heard much of Keith Urban, but
You should check him out.
I should. Yeah.
Production-wise, he's a great singer.
He's like one of the greatest country
Live
singers.
act, amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him live, but I've seen performances on YouTube.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Man, where can we've asked where we can find you? Are you also on Facebook?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Okay. And what's your handle on
It's
Facebook?
Kevin Owen Live. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Kevin
Yeah.
Owen Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So people can get you there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what about up and coming the next few months? Any gigs at all?
Oh my God, I'm booked into
25.
December already. Yeah. So that you can also find on my website. But in general, I'm here in Holland a lot until June. Then I have some corporate stuff in Switzerland in July. August, another few things going on here in Holland at Crazy Pianos. So yeah, a little bit everywhere.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a real treat to have
It's
you.
been really nice to be here.
Great
So
fun.
nice setup. Really nice, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And good luck with everything. Yeah?
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate that you involved me in this. Really, really
Yeah,
nice.
awesome to have you, man.
Cool.
Thanks.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as every Tuesday we interview another international piano entertainer. Check out our links in the description, and until next time, have a great week.